everybody? What's happening? What's shaking? What's doing? My name's Dave McRae. Welcome to episode 339 of McRae Live. The date today is Tuesday, June the 17th, 2025, 2:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I Know What You Did Last Summer has a new trailer. It dropped today. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? What did you think about it? I don't know. Do it again! Do it again, ladies and gentlemen. I Know What You Did Last Summer is just around the corner. The remake, the reboot, the requel, the sequel, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr., a slew of young people. I have no idea who the hell they are, but it's coming, and a new trailer dropped today. Have you seen it? We're going to take a look at it. We're going to talk about it, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it, and I want to know your thoughts on it. What did you think of the trailer? Do it one more time! One more time. What's going on? Kevin Dustin, Chester Franklin Jr., Daniel Bauer, maybe? That's probably how you say that. Ryan Oshlow, Lamonte Gillard. We'll see if anybody rolls on in. See if anybody gives a shit. Maybe nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. All right, what's going on, everybody? We'll see if anybody cares to talk about the I Know What You Did Last Summer trailer. I am interested, obviously, being a big fan. I'm not gonna say I'm a big fan of the. Well, I'm not gonna say I'm a big fan of the original, but of course, I liked it. I mean, I was 18 when it came out in 1997. And that was my first introduction to Jennifer Love Hewitt, who became my high school celebrity, my high school / college / 20s celebrity crush. And that was, I know she'd been on Party of Five prior to that, but I didn't watch Party of Five, so I had no idea who she was. And when I watched I Know What You Did Last Summer, I was like, who is this goddess? And Julie James, arguably her most famous role, probably right alongside her role in the television show Ghost Whisperer. Certainly in horror circles, it's Julie James. Then the sequel, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, came out in 1998, just a year later. And I wasn't a big fan of it. I thought it was a major step down. Probably why they never made another one. But Dave, they did. I know, the 2006 straight-to-DVD, I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, but not really related to the previous two movies at all. And that was it. And, I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's part of that late 90s slasher pop culture. It's definitely there. But I wouldn't say that it was a huge, it wasn't like Scream, or anything like that. Scream was like zeitgeist level shit. Whereas I Know What You Did Last Summer was kind of like, kind of living in the shadow of Scream, and it was fine. It was serviceable, it was fine, it was good. A couple of hot girls, and away you go. Ryan Felipe was in the original movie. That's right, Josh. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. He was. Sarah Michelle Gellar, of course, and Anne Heche, the late Anne Heche. So I think at that time that she was in this movie, she was dating Ellen DeGeneres. So they released a glorified teaser. I mean, teasers aren't really teasers anymore. They're like trailers. Anyway, so they released a first trailer, not that long ago, a month ago maybe. And I thought it was okay. I thought it was all right. I actually, call me crazy, but I actually like this trailer better than the trailer they released about a month or so ago. I don't know if you guys do, but I like this trailer better. I think I don't know. I don't know if the movie's going to be any good. I have spoken to somebody who is in the know about it. So I can't say too much about it beyond that. So I know a little bit about sort of maybe how it's, feeling to some people. I don't know what I'm going to think of this movie. I have no idea. I could walk in there, walk out going, you know what, that I haven't seen anything yet that makes me feel like I'm going to be blown away. You know what I mean? And there's nothing in these trailers that makes me go, oh, this looks exceptional. Now, but that's the job of a trailer, right? You know, and we've all seen really great trailers to movies that turn out not to be very good. And we've all seen subpar, mediocre trailers to movies that turn out to be really good. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to take these things with a grain of salt. But I will say that, you know, the two I Know What You Did Last Summer trailers haven't blown me away, but for whatever reason, I liked this trailer better. I don't know what that says about me. I don't know if is that the general consensus among the horror community today? I don't know. I haven't checked in on anybody. I haven't been on, you know, Horror X or what. I don't know what anybody's saying about this, whether they're saying it looks like shit, it looks like ass, it looks pretty good, I really like it, I don't know what anybody is saying. I just was sitting on the couch this morning having some breakfast, and I was scrolling on my phone, and I saw it, and I thought, oh, okay, a new one. Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense because, you know, we're weeks away now. So I just, you know, tapped the thing, and I watched on my phone, and I was like, oh, I like the energy of it. As far as trailers go, in terms of a trailer, I think it's got a nice energy to it, a nice pace to it. And I kind of liked it. You know, I was like, oh yeah, no, I'll watch this, you know? So I don't know. I don't really know what to think. Alex Shambach says it looks very run of the mill. Well, it does, but were we expecting something more? Were we expecting something else? Hoping for good things, says Alec. Daniel says, my favorite band type O negative got the opening music on the original. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that. Is that the one that goes? It begins with a guitar riff, I think. RJ says, Jennifer Love Hewitt was one of my 90s crushes, too. Get in line and take a number, Dave. Well, let's just say that both of our mothers were named Patricia, Pat. So I think I'm just saying. And sadly, both of our mothers have passed. Her mother died a few years ago as well. So I'm just saying. No, so, you know, I watch the trailer and I'm like, yeah, this looks, you know, all right. Like it looks all right. I liked it. Again, it was better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't know what to expect, but if we go over to the other screen, oh, there I am. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. Hang on a sec here. Let me just make sure yeah, okay, I am. And so I can't, obviously we can have no audio. You know, I can't do that, or I'm going to get dinged because I'm live and I don't know what's going to happen. But I mean, you know, it's you know, I think the energy of the trailer is quite good. You know, we begin with this party here and there's a party going on and, you know, who are these people? What's happening? I'm like, okay, you know, it's brightly lit. It feels kind of cozy and comfortable. And I like the reveal. Like I will say this. I like the idea that they've moved on and they are, you know, going about their lives. They're moving on. They're at, I guess, a wedding here or a bachelorette party or or something, some sort of kind of thing. And I like the idea that everybody who was there the year prior is, I'm assuming, at this wedding or this bachelorette party or whatever. And I kind of like the idea that she opens this card from presumably somebody there, and all it says is, I know what you did last summer. It's just, here we go. Here it comes. And she opens it up, and boom, there it is. Now, if you remember back to the original, Julie James is away. I believe she's at home, right? And her mother, I'm forgive me if I'm getting the details a bit back to front. It's been a little bit since I've seen the original, but I believe she's back home, and I remember like she's dressed in like these, comfy kind of clothes. She looked really cute. Anyway, so she receives something in the mail. I think her mother hands her something or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, what's this?" And it says Julie on it, and she opens it up, and it says, "I know what you did last summer." But she's not in like Ray and Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. Ryan Felipe. They're not all like together in the same room. I like the idea that she receives this in an environment where you can't really draw attention to it, right? Like when we see Julie open the card in the original, she has a visceral reaction to it. Like we see her kind of go, huh, because she's alone. She's alone in her house. She's, you know what I mean? She's like, what the? And then we see her take that card to Sarah Michelle Gellar, to Freddie Prinze Jr., to Ryan Flipp, like, what the fuck's going on? Did you write this? Did you do this? Is this a joke? All that kind of stuff. This is an environment where you got to watch your reaction, and you're like, what the fuck? Because you don't want to go, what the fuck? Because there's, yes, the people that knew what happened are there, the other 3 or 4 people, but there's probably 50 or 60 other people at this event that have no idea what you did last summer. So you don't want to draw attention to yourself, right? So I kind of like that. Like I like sort of just the sociological, the suspense of being in that. And now, again, I'm thinking very deeply on this. I'm sure that this is going to play out very simply, very pedestrian-like or whatever. But I just think I like the idea. Like she's not at home alone and getting this card. She's at an event where she's got to be careful. It's like being in a restaurant. You know what I mean? Where you're like. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to cause a scene, and so it's kind of, I like that. But whether, it'll be a good moment, I don't know. Like, see how she's kind of like, I kind of have to, and of course we see the flashback. This is very much like the original. And I'll say this, I said this before, I'll say it again. Engagement party, was that what it was? Maybe, yeah, that's what it was. I said a wedding or a bachelorette party. Yeah, maybe an engagement party. Something like that, right? And what's crazy about that, too, is that, does that mean that the person who wrote that card is there in the room? Likely not, unless they're going to pull a Scream and it's now, I Know What You Did Last Summer is now a whodunit, which I hope they don't do, but then maybe it's the right thing to do if it really works. I don't know. But I'll say that I quite enjoy that idea of being in that environment, not really knowing, how to respond, right? It's, and then, but, I will say too that this, you read the synopsis for this movie and it plays out like you're watching the original film, but nonetheless, there they are, right? What did they do? Oh my God, they got into a car accident. Oh, fuck, we got it. It even kind of looks like the same stretch of highway. Maybe it is. I don't know. I like that. Again, there's an energy to the trailer. There's a pacing to the trailer. I think it's a well cut together trailer. Like from a narrative, editing, pacing standpoint, it's well cut together. That's what I'll say. Whether the trailer moves the needle for you or not, I don't know. There are some people, but again, we live in a world now as well, especially in fandom where everybody's again, nothing can be just, hey, that was pretty good. It's either got to move you and change your life where you walk outside and the sun shining down upon you has a whole new meaning and you gallivant through the streets with a big smile on your face. Like that feels like that is sort of what it has to be with everything now. Or it's dog shit and you're lying in the fetal position in your bed crying. I mean, it's like, there's many levels in between this stuff, folks, and it's like, no, it didn't blow me away. I didn't walk away going, that was amazing. Holy fuck, but very few trailers do that, right? Like I often say, very few trailers are going to make you gallivant through the streets buck naked with a big smile on your face with the sunshine beating down, beating down upon you. I mean, some will. I mean, there's going to be some that will, but very few will. Eddie Chase sends in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Eddie, and says, writer did a great job for her to receive the letter at a party, and kudos to the trailer with opening up at a party and not obvious horror movie situation. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't want to give too much credit. I mean, it's not a, it's not thespian work here. I'm just saying that I just kind of like that. Like if I'm looking for positives, I like that. That's kind of cool. Being in that environment. Oh my God, you get this thing. It's not the first time it's ever happened, in a movie, but it's all right. Again, I didn't hate the trailer. I'm sure there's going to be people, it looks like fucking shit. It looks like, look, listen, I'll just say this. It looks exactly what I expect. Maybe my expectations are so middle of the road now that I am very rarely blown away or very rarely extremely disappointed. I don't know what that says about me, but it's I see things mostly today where I'm just like, yeah, when they say, hey, we're making an I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel nearly 30 years after the fact, and we're going to make it, and it's going to be this legacy sequel, this is kind of what I expected. Like, I'm not looking at this going, this looks like ass. And I'm not looking at this going, this looks incredible. Like, it kind of looks like what I would expect 30 years later in this barrage of legacy sequels that Hollywood likes to produce. This kind of makes me go, yeah, kind of look, And so... and if it does look incredible, like something that moves the needle and makes you gallivant through the streets buck naked like a banshee, waving your pants over your head with the sunshine beating down upon you, well, then amazing. That's great. But that doesn't usually happen. Anyway, of course, we saw this scene in the first trailer that they released a while ago. Again, I think this for most people in the first trailer that they released a month or so ago, I think this was probably the highlight. Very Scream-esque. I will say that this does have a Scream-esque vibe. Not just the way it looks or the way it's shot, but I mean, we have a swimming pool and a guy looking through a window of a swimming pool. Hey, who's that? I mean, it's very, there's a Scream-ish thing to it, right? Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, that's a great moment in the original Scream. So, you want to do your own spin on that. I think that's totally cool. But this scene, from what I remember from the trailer a month ago, I think this was, quote unquote, the highlight of that first trailer. People are like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, that's a different weapon. It's not, the hook and it's through the window and through his, oh, that's kind of cool. Plays out still kind of the same, and then the fisherman with the boots. And then, who is this fisherman? The dead guy has a question, raising his hand. Excuse me, Mr. Fisherman. Yes. But I mean, it's there's the hook. So what I want to know is, who is this fisherman? It's clearly not, I don't think it would be the original fisherman who dressed up like this. So how does this person know to dress up like this? And why are they dressing up like this? Why would you dress up like this? Is the fisherman now going to be like Ghostface, where there isn't one fisherman, right? Like Jason or Freddy or Michael or Chucky. The character of the fisherman could be portrayed by anybody who wants to get out there and fisherman it up. No, wait. To get out there and fisherman it up. That's what I meant to say. And maybe that's the case because, Ghostface, some people say, well, Ghostface isn't a character. And it's like, well, no, he is. He is. He's not. Yes, Ghostface himself isn't one singular person, but Ghostface is a symbol, is a costume. Ghostface is a character that people portray. And so that is who has become iconic, right? That it's that symbol, that character. And this might be the situation with the fisherman, where if this is really good, and if this does move the needle, and if this is a good movie, and again, remember, it doesn't have to be incredible. It doesn't have to be 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. It could be in the 60s. And, if I see that this has 60s when this movie comes out and in the first week, it's got like 40 reviews and like 68%, I'm going to be like, whoa. Because most movies like this don't do that. Most slasher horror movies don't get anywhere near 60%. Not saying there aren't some that do. I'm just saying, generally speaking, go look at your favorite slasher movies. You know what I mean? And so if this is knocking on 70%, I mean, that's even if it's in the 50s, it's middle of the road. 50% of, like it, 50% don't. I mean, yes, you always want something higher than 50%. Of course, you want to have people really like your movie. But, I mean, if I walk out of the theater and I think, that's a solid 6.5 out of 10, that's a win. Because there's no business. Most legacy sequels have no business 30 years after the mark being anywhere near a 6.5 out of 10. Do you know what I mean? Like, really, at the end of the day. And so, as long as we go in with tempered expectations and we're not thinking this is going to be, gallivanting through the streets with, buck naked waving your pants over your head, screaming, I'm a banshee with the sun beating down on. And if it does, well, that's great. But I'm curious to know whether this is going to be a situation where they're going to move the needle forward with what you did last summer, where now the movies become whodunits. I wonder if that's what they're going to do. I don't know. And we get to see our cast of characters here moving along. We get to see them. The yes. There they are. What's going on? Do you know who it was? I sound like drunk Dr. Loomis. Oh, there he is, Freddie Prinze. Ray, what are you doing here? I'll help you out, bitches. Come on, man. It's cool, right? It's cool. I mean, if you're a big fan, it's cool, of course, to see them back. Taylor Paulson sends in $4.99. Thank you, Taylor. Says the band Goddard covered Deep Purple's Hush in the OG. My old band covered it so I can play it on the drums, also on guitar. Very, very cool. I remember Hush. Hush, 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 hush. I remember that. That was during the closing credits. And I remember the opening guitar riff. Very cool. Frankly speaking, Riker, what's going on, Frank? Great to see you here. So I'm curious. There he is. There's the man. Oh, and wait a minute. Oh, there she is. I'm Michelle Gellar. I have heard a rumor. Somebody reached out to me about 2 or 3 weeks ago and said, I think it's going to be Sarah Michelle Gellar who's going to be one of the killers. I hope not. How? Why? Why? Why would she be one? Why would her character, what was her character's name? I forget now. Was it Sarah? No, her real name's Sarah. Fuck, I forget. Chat room, let me know. It says right there, I think. It says, I can't remember now. Chat room, let me know. Well, I'm blanking on her character name, and I don't know why. Really at the end of the day, why? And why would we want that? Horror fans are strange, man. Why? Why would her character, all of a sudden, her character is faked her death and now wants to murder everybody? Yes, of course it's Hollywood. You could weave some sort of asinine story out of that to make it make sense, putting a square peg into a round hole. Sure. I mean, you can always do that. You could also have it Martin Short under there and it would make sense. Helen. That's it. I was way off. Helen Shivers. Shivers. But I just kind of sit back and I think, why? Here's why people say that. Even if they don't consciously realize it, this is why some fans are saying that or even secretly hoping that because they want Sarah Michelle Gellar in the movie. And they're like, how can we get her in the movie? I don't know. How about she's the killer? And they don't stop to think, why would she be the killer? That doesn't make any sense. All of a sudden, that's totally like, A, she's dead. Well, yeah, but it's like, no, stop it. It's like that Batman meme where you got Batman slapping Robin in the face. It's no, stop it. No. Now, do I think she is going to be in this movie? Probably via a flashback or a Force Ghost or a cassette tape or maybe it is. Maybe she is one of the killers and she's like, hello, everybody, it's me, Helen Shivers. I mean, come on. Do you honestly, now it all depends on how it's done, okay? It all depends on how it's done, but are you seriously telling me that, come on, I know what you did last summer, fans. Are you seriously telling me that you would be sitting in the movie theater and you would cheer with glee when the fisherman's mask comes off and it's goddamn Sarah Michelle Gellar as Helen Shivers and she's like saying something like, hello, Julie? I mean, come on. I mean, what are we doing here? God, I hope that's not what they do. I hope that's not what... That doesn't mean anything. Michael Dammit says, well, she's not listening to the cast. That means fuck all. That's I mean, a good sort of thing to see, but that doesn't... There's been many cameos that have sprung up who, at the last minute. And so I suspect she's in it. Maybe that's it right there. Maybe you're looking at her cameo right now, ladies and gentlemen. There she is. She's in it. There she is, folks. She is in it. There it is. There's her cameo. And really, that's all you need. You don't need her in it at all. I mean, maybe if you want to show a VHS tape and she's on it and you do a bit of de-aging or something, I don't know. But God, I hope she's not the killer. I mean, come on, folks. Story matters. We don't want to derail this. And now it makes no sense to me. What if Helen and Julie fucking hated each other? Okay? If Helen was like, that goddamn Julie James, she's got bigger boobs than me. Although back in 1997, Sarah Michelle Gellar, she got, if you watch Buffy, you know what I mean. No, but you know what I mean, though, right? Like unless they were like arch rivals, and even this would be completely dumb. But they're arch rivals. You stole my boyfriend. No, you stole my boyfriend, and maybe. And she faked her death, and for some strange dumb reason, waited 30 years to make it apparent. I mean, okay. You could figure it out, and we could go, why the hell would Helen Shivers be the killer? It makes no sense. So I hope not. Anyway, here it is. This line didn't bother me this July. Ooh, yes. Yes. There he is. Anyways, let me just continue. I forgot what I was going to say there. The old shot above the ceiling fan routine. Oh, yes. So, the hook through the... yes, let's do it. Karma is a bitch. Oh, a killer. So, you see a lot of stuff. Again, folks, if you're just joining, I'm not going through this with a fine-tooth comb. We're just getting a sense of it, of course. I got to stop and start and talk because I don't want to get a copyright strike. Flashpoint says, Dave... the killer will be someone related to Freddie Prinze or Love Hewitt's character or one of the dead friends. I'm calling it now. Well, I mean, with all due respect, I think that's a pretty safe bet. That's usually how these things go, right? Because there has to be motive behind it, right? The motive is clearly, if they killed somebody the killer has to have motive, right? And so the motive would be either, they're related to the person who died, or related to the person who did the killing, or related to the person who did the killing who died 30 years ago, or, there's probably going to be some sort of intertwined like that. But God help us if it's Sarah Michelle Gellar. Sarah, if you're watching, please, no. You just it's me, Helen Shivers. Did I scare everybody? Come on, everybody. Let's shiver together. I mean, no, ladies and gentlemen. No. This looks like I paused it because we're looking at the back of a woman here. That's not why I paused it. The old killer through the thing. It's a well put together trailer. I mean, it doesn't really move the needle. It doesn't make me think it looks like shit, but it doesn't make me think it looks incredible. It just kind of looks like, something you would expect. And then, of course, we get the final... You got to put the button on it. What are you waiting for? Woo! All the I Know What You Did Last Summer fans are going, oh, she said it. She did. She said it. But I like that she didn't scream it. It's evolved. It's mature, right? It's calm. It's cool. It's collected. It's more confident. It's, what are you waiting for? Now... The only thing I will say is this. So that's the trailer. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's all over social media, YouTube. That's the second trailer. The movie comes out July 18th. There it is. In North America, anyway. I don't know if that's worldwide or if it's getting... I'm not sure. But definitely United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic of Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Grenada, Salvador, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela. What's that from? So... We'll see if my audience knows that little half-assed version of what I just did there. But United States, Canada. Whenever I say United States, Canada, I think I want to go into that song. July 18th, for sure. It's probably worldwide. Josh McKenna, $1.99, says, I want Ryan, Felipe, and Helen to be the killers. No! Oh, no, Josh! No! Are you kidding me? No, Josh! No! Michael Dammett's got it. Animaniacs. You're right. You got it, buddy. You got it. God, I hope not. I really hope not. And so, there it is. That's the trailer. And I will say that, it's all right. I didn't hate it. And I'm going to be honest with you. And I don't know what anybody's saying on the internet right now. The entire internet could be laughing at this. The entire internet could be thinking this is a piece of shit. It looks like crap. It looks like ass. Our horror community could be saying the same thing. I don't know. I haven't checked in. And even if they are, I'm not going to say, oh, you know what, it actually is kind of shitty. No, I thought the trailer was all right. I actually think I liked it better than the one they released a month ago. But maybe I'm looking at it through a couple of different lenses, right? I'm also looking at it just as a trailer as well. The editing, the pacing, the way it was put together. I think it's a well put together trailer, and I like it. I like the vibe. I like the energy. I like the style. So I'm looking at it through that lens as well. And then you got to look at it. Okay, what does this tell us about the story? Does this make us look good, bad? And I think it looks what you would expect from a trailer to a legacy sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, the only thing I'll say is this. When it comes to the this moment right here, when it comes to Jennifer Love Hewitt going, what are you waiting for? Just fucking do it. I will say that, I hope it's not presented in a way like how, Michael, it's Halloween. Everyone's the one to get scared. I hope it's not presented like that because, okay, so it's fan service, but I don't necessarily believe and I know I'm overthinking this, but these are things you think about. I don't necessarily believe in the narrative, in the real world that these characters live, that Julie James would even remember saying that 30 years ago. It's not like she said it and then it became this pivotal moment and it's this catchphrase for her and she's, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is clearly fan service. It's a little bit of that fan service thing. I just hope in the narrative, it doesn't come across like she's saying it like she remembers and it's a thing that she says in a moment that's like a catchphrase. It's probably going to come across like that to some degree anyway, by sheer virtue of just what it is. But the hey, Michael, I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, that came across like, Brackett had been waiting 40 years to say this. Like it's just, and again, it came across in the original Halloween like it was something he just said off the cuff. It was something he bumps into Laurie on the sidewalk and he's basically going, oh, sorry about that, Laurie. Well, you know what? It's Halloween. Everyone's entitled to one good scare. He wouldn't have remembered he said that 6 months after that. It's a shoot from the hip. That's how it's presented, right? So Brackett going, hey, Michael, I guess everyone, it's Halloween. It's kind of like, what? So it felt a little weird. I hope this doesn't kind of have that vibe like Julie James has been waiting 30 years to say this. You know what I mean? It's like, Julie, you wouldn't have even remembered you said that a year later. You know what I mean? Like, it was just something, you just were angry. You're like, oh, fuck, what are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for? I mean, it's not like it becomes like this thing. Although it does with fans, I understand why it's there. And from a narrative editing trailer perspective, I would have cut it the exact same way. I would have ended it this close to release, a month out. I would have ended it the exact same way, for sure. Because it gets fans, it gets 46-year-old fanboys like me going, no. And that's fine. That's fine. That's great. It's become her thing. It's become her I'll be back. It's become her hasta la vista, baby. Okay. What are you waiting for? I get it. But I'm also going to say too, that really wasn't, for those of you that might be younger, it really wasn't a big thing. Like, yes, people did repeat it and mimic it when it came out, but it's not like that's really followed Jennifer Love Hewitt. Like, it's only kind of, I think it's become more a big thing now in retrospect than it ever was really at that time. I mean, I was 18. I kind of remember. But anyway, so that I hope they don't do that with that. But I thought the trailer looked all right. It didn't, as I said, it hasn't moved the needle excessively for me, but it hasn't made me think the movie looks like shit. I still think it could go either way. But listen, if you're watching after the fact, jump into the comment section and let me know your thoughts. What did you think of the new I Know What You Did Last Summer trailer? Do you think it looks good? Do you think it looks like ass? Are your expectations too high? I mean, if you're somebody that looks at this and thinks it looks like a big pile of shit, ask yourself, where are my expectations for an I Know What You Did Last Summer legacy sequel 30 years after the fact? Like, where are your expectations? You know what I mean? Because I don't think this trailer makes the movie look like shit. Unless you're part of the crowd that just uses that hyperbolically, because that's just what you say. Like, everything's shit. No, it's just shit. It's just shit. There's no in between. Maybe you're one of those people. But I just think this looks, kind of middle of the road. It just kind of looks like, yeah, what you would expect. But you tell me what you guys think. I'd like to know. Alex Shambach says, how involved or uninvolved do you anticipate Jennifer's character to play a role? Will we see any chase scenes with her character or for pure nostalgia? Well, it does look like towards the end of the trailer there. Let me go back to the other screen. It does look like there was a here. It looks like one of our leads, maybe the Julie James of this new iteration, perhaps, is in Freddie Prinze Jr. And so she's been injured, or she's just been in a fight, or, whatever the case is. And Julie James is suddenly there. And we see her. I just want to make sure that it's not a different, because sometimes the way you cut trailers together, you're telling a story, and sometimes you don't use the same shots or the same moments. But it does look like the same moment. So we see her. I don't know if this is the climax or what the context is here, but we see her sort of in a situation where she is, there could have been a fight that just happened, or there could have been something going on, or, whatever the case is. That's really the only thing we see from Julie, I think, in that kind of regard. And then, of course, oh, yeah, hey, look at that. Oh, fuck. So the question is, how big are their roles? Well, let's just put it this way. This is what I think. And if you follow me for any length of time, you know that I've been saying this for... I said this before they even announced they were making a movie. Just by, again, sheer virtue of how these kinds of things usually go. Kinds of things being legacy sequels of this ilk 30 years, 40 years, 50 years after the fact. When you're bringing back legacy characters, right? So many years later, we have to remember that Jennifer Love Hewitt's my age. She's actually 3 or 4 months older than me, right? So she's 46. Freddie Prinze is like late 40s, early 50s, I think. It's been 30 years for all intents and purposes. 28 years, but you know what I mean. 30 years, right? And so that's like a generation. There are kids, teenagers, the target demographic. I'm part of that because if I had, kids, I would be bringing my kids to see this, right? But the real nuts and bolts, the real target demographic of most slasher movies is your 18 to 34, right? I mean, that's like your, it's the teeny boppers, the teenagers, the date nights, that really what it is. And then there's us old guys and gals who they want to get in there too for the nostalgia. Now, I speak generally when I say this, but it is true that the target demographic for these films, the big demographic, the big one, not the fans, the big one, right? The general movie-going audience. Not everybody, but a lot of these people have no idea who the hell Jennifer Love Hewitt is. Because she's not like she's Brad Pitt and has had this flourishing A-list career. And I don't say that as a knock. I'm just saying, her big, thing was, the 90s, right? And so there's lots of people that have no idea who she is, no idea who Freddie Prinze Jr. is, right? And so it is unlikely that they would make a sequel solely based around them. Because they need to get us in there, and we'll go. But as I said on a show about a week or so ago, I said, it's like what Bill Murray said about the Ghostbusters legacy sequel, Ghostbusters Afterlife. He said, nobody wants to see a bunch of 70-year-old fat guys running around in Ghostbuster costumes. Well, we do, right? Us 40, 50-year-old guys do, yeah, because that was our childhood. But the 18 and 19-year-olds have no idea who the fuck Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray are. Again, I speak generally. Obviously, there are people that do, but you know what I mean, right? Generally speaking, they have no idea who they are. So they need to build a story that gets that feels new and feels fresh and gets the younger crowd, gets the children of people my age, right? Gets them into the theaters, gets them in there, and then you sprinkle some of the legacy sequel in there, right? Because what they want to do, this is about longevity. Nobody makes these sequels hoping for a one-off. They're hoping this is the beginning of a new franchise like Scream. Whether it will be or not, I don't know, but that's what they're hoping for. And so it's a passing of the torch. So this isn't going to be, I Know What You Did Last Summer, starring Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr., right? Maybe they will get top billing for marketing and, all that, but I just mean they are the passing of they at the very least, they'll probably be glorified cameos, right? So they're in it, and I think they're going to be in it more than Ellen Burstyn was in Exorcist Believer, but it will be that kind of thing. Right? And you see that in the trailer. Shit happens. Oh my God, what are we going to do? We need help from somebody who knows more about this, right? I said that 2 years ago before they even announced this. And sure enough, that's what we see. We need to find somebody who knows about it. So they seek them out and they will be there. But it is really about these new group of actors who I don't even know who they are. And why would I? I don't have children and I'm 46 years old. I'm nearly 50 years old. Why would I know who these young teeny boppers are? I don't know who they are. Just as the kids who are fans of these actors have no idea who Jennifer Love Hewitt is. I mean, they do, but you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean? And so, and if they didn't, they do now, right? But so, anyway, so yeah, so no, I think they'll be in it, but this isn't all about them. This isn't like, they're the leads, they're the principal, and they're in the fight, and it's all about that. No, it's gonna be, they will be there, like how kind of Sydney was in Scream 5, right? It'll probably be more something like that, to that kind of thing. Whether Julie James is very integral to the climax, like Sidney Prescott was in Scream 5, I don't know, because she was quite involved. So much so that she's walking around Stu's house with a gun and she's getting into it with, Courtney Cox's character and all that kinds of Gale. And so will it be like that? Maybe. I don't see any evidence of that. But maybe. You never know. We do see a couple of shots of Freddie Prinze with a gun and things like that. Or is one of them going to die? Right? Is Freddie's character going to die? Freddie's character is, yeah, that's right. Ray. Yeah. Is Freddie's character Ray going to die? Is Julie James going to die? What are you waiting for? Is that it? Is the what are you waiting for? Take me out now, bitch. What are you waiting for? Ooh. Is that what that is? I don't know, right? Again, folks, it's not that legacy characters die. It's how they die. Does it serve the story? Does it serve the overarching story? Does it make the stakes deeper? And does the story get richer and all that kind of stuff? That's really interesting to me. And I wouldn't be totally against it. This is a passing of the torch movie. I don't think, whether they die or not, if this movie is really good, I think the idea is to not have them moving forward in a sequel. Maybe they're in a sequel. Maybe they are via a phone call, via a Skype, via one scene. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's just that residual legacy sequel character spillover. You know what I mean? But this isn't the Julie James and Ray show, right? It's not going to be that. It's because they need to focus on the new guard, because that's how they build new franchises with new life moving forward for longevity. when everything is firing on all cylinders, right? And so I think, in a nutshell, I think they're hoping to do with I Know What You Did Last Summer what they did with Scream, minus before the whole debacle. Eddie Chase sends in $5. Thank you, Eddie. Says, curious to see what brings back Ray and Julie. Are they local? Well, it's in the trailer. I mean, I think the new guard seeks them out. And it looks, yeah. Are they related to the kids somehow? What do you think, Dave? And what would you do? Well, I know a little bit more than the average person because I know somebody who knows a lot about it. So I won't say all I'll say is that, I don't think they're related to anybody. And I think this is a clear-cut case of, I don't know for certain, but I think this is a clear-cut case of new group of kids have a similar experience. They don't know what the fuck to do. They're scared shitless. They discovered that this has happened before, so they decide to seek out Ray and Julie for advice. And then Ray and Julie get in on it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like they get kind of in on it, you know? That's what this is going to be. That's what I said. That's what if I said, and Tony Michael said this too, 2 or 3 years ago, we said, if they ever make a legacy sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer, I think this was in and around when Scream 5 came out. We said, if they ever make it, this is what it will likely be like. And this is what it is. And so I don't think Julie and Ray are together. They're married with kids. I don't think that's it at all. Whether they ended up married and they're divorced or something, I'm not too sure. It looks like one of the kids has bumped into Julie James on a university campus, so she's likely working for the university. And so, you know, yeah, I think that's what it'll be. What would I do? I would love to make, if I was in charge, I'd love to do a legacy sequel that involved Ray and Julie as your leads, as your principals, but the studio would never let me do that. They would say, no, you can't do that because so much of our target demographic has no idea who the fuck these people are and don't want to see, you know, middle-aged Julie James and Ray running around, you know, huffing and puffing. You know, we do, yes, because of nostalgia, but Bill Murray was right, you know, when he said that. You know, when he said no, it was either him or Dan Aykroyd that said it, but I think it was Bill Murray because it sounds like something he would say. Nobody wants to see a bunch of 70-year-old fat guys running around in Ghostbusters outfits, huffing and puffing. And he's right. Yeah, me, yes. But kids aren't going to go to who the hell is Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd? You know what I mean? Time, in case you haven't noticed, look in a mirror. We're all getting old. And as is a lot of things in life, it isn't just the entertainment business, but especially the entertainment business. Your prime real estate for the entertainment business is 18 to 34. You know what I mean? That chunk right there. You know what I mean? That chunk, you know? And it doesn't mean you don't spill over a little bit further and a little bit younger, of course, but that chunk, like it is for a lot of things in marketing and all that kind of stuff, that's that fresh, juicy, ripe, fresh meat. You know what I mean? And once you get past that, you know, I mean, for example, it's so many things are done where they hope us old guys, not old, but you know what I mean? Us, you know, mid 40s to mid 50s, they do target us through nostalgia, but what they're hoping is that our nostalgia, they're hoping we don't just go see the movie. They're hoping we take our daughters and our sons to go see it. Right? You know, that's what, you know what I mean? It's all part of the game, right? And so, because they know that despite that I don't have any children, they know that most middle-aged men my age and older have kids, right? Who could be the target demographic. And so they hope that, well, if we hit them, then they're going to hit. So we can hit the kids on their own, but we can also hit the middle-aged old guys on their own, and they're going to tap down, and then they're going to all go. It's a whole, you know, I'm really simplifying this, you know, but you know, it's a whole thing, right? And so, yeah, it's that. But in case you're wondering, that is why you're not seeing I Know What You Did Last Summer with Ray and Julie as like just the leads. There's no kids, you know, there's no car act. It's just somebody's back to get them. I mean, sure, that'd be cool. I'd love to see that, but it's too risky. They would never do it because teenagers would be like, I'm not going to go see that. That looks like my dad's kind of movie, you know? Calvonix sends in $5, says, hello, Dave. Important question. Good to see you, Calvonix. As a fellow hat aficionado, amazing. How many hats do you own, and do you decide which one to wear each day? I own a lot of caps. And something to know about me, I am wearing, obviously, a Buffalo Sabre hat right now. The Buffalo Sabres are my favorite hockey team. So this is the exception to the rule for me. But I have a lot of sports hats, baseball hats, football hats. I wear hats. I will wear hats of the teams that I like, but I'll wear hats just because I like the hat. Like I have an Oakland Athletics hat. I don't have any allegiance to the Oakland A's. I have a San Francisco Giants hat. I don't have an allegiance to the San Francisco Giants, right? I have I have a Toronto Maple Leafs hat. Now, they're not my favorite hockey team, but I have a Quebec Nordiques hat, an old one, I just like hats. And if I think a hat looks really cool, I'll wear it. I have a New York Yankees hat. You've probably seen me wear it. And everybody's like, you like the Yankees? Like, no, is there a rule that I guess it's true. If you see somebody wearing a hat of a sports team, chances are they like that team. But for me, I just like hats. And sometimes I do like the teams. But sometimes I just like the way the hat looks or the logo or whatever it is, or the way it looks on me. And then I have other stuff like the Daffy Duck hat and the Looney Tunes hats and all that kind of stuff. So I'll be honest with you, I have a lot of hats. I don't take it that seriously. I just kind of, when I'm going out, I don't wear, I have a hat on now because I'm doing the show, but I don't wear a hat around my house. You know what I mean? But if I'm going to go out, if I'm going to go to a movie or I'm going to hang out with Bruce or whatever, I'll just look at a hat that I feel like wearing. I don't think about it too much. I just kind of, whatever I feel that day. Is this a Blue Jays kind of hat day? Is this a Yankee hat day? Is this an Oakland hat day? Is this a Buffalo Sabres hat day? Is this a Daffy Duck hat day? You know what I mean? And I am able to make that decision within usually 30 seconds. It doesn't take me long. So, I don't really think too hard on it, to be honest with you. But that's me. That's me. By the way, I want to say this. Coming soon to the channel, this is going to be exclusive to my members at the moment. Now, it is possible that it could open up to the wider audience, but I want to make this a members exclusive thing at the moment. I am going to be launching very soon a voicemail line. Not literally a voicemail where you phone a phone number. It'll be a link that will be to my members. If you are part of my level number 1 or level number 2, well, I only have 2. If you're part of my membership, you will get access to the McRae line, as I'm going to call it, the McRae line. And you will be able to click on a link, and you don't have to pay for anything. You don't have to download anything, upload anything. It'll just be a link that'll take you to sort of this landing page. You just make sure you hit record, and you have up to 90 seconds to record your voicemail, and it will go into my inbox, and I will be able to play your voicemail on air. And level number 2 on my membership takes priority, and I'm thinking about doing it not every show, but doing it once a week, every Friday will be voicemail Fridays or something, because that gives people time to send it in. And you can send it in whenever. You can send it in when I'm I don't have to be live for you to do that. You can send it in 24 hours a day. And then it will pile up. And you can send in, hey, Dave, I just want to say that, I like this. Or you can have a question for me, a hot take, something that you're thinking about, something that you want to know about, or whatever the case is. And I will pick some and I will play them on air on voicemail Tuesdays or voicemail Fridays or something. And everyone will be from my level number 2, but each one, there will be a wild card from my level number 1. So you level number 1ers out there, we love you guys. You guys are amazing too. But I needed to have a little more, to be fair to those who are contributing more. I wanted there to be more of an opportunity for them as well. So I want to do sort of Frank says 1-800-DAVE fan. It's a test. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if it catches on amongst my members. Maybe I will make it exclusive to members only indefinitely, which is kind of where it is at the moment. But if it really takes off, maybe I'll figure out a way to open it up to everybody, but also have more exclusivity for members as well, like certain kind of things. We'll see how it goes, but it's going to be a member exclusive only at the moment. And that is going to be coming down the pipe very, very soon. So if you've always wanted to hear your voice, it's like a radio show kind of thing, right? But it's not going to be live. It'll be your voicemail that I will play in real time as a question or a statement or a thought or, whatever the case is. And I will respond to you in real time live on the air. Now, this is, in case you haven't noticed, this is sort of a, could be a test to potential live call-in. So I want to kind of run this, see how it goes. And then maybe in the near future, if this goes really well and we're in a rhythm and things are going well, it could evolve to live call-in, which could, in case you haven't noticed, could be a new show altogether. I have been thinking long and hard about the future of McRae Live and what I want to do with it. What I want to do. I mean, I've done 339 of these shows. I've done 200 shows of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. By the way, the 200th episode of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit is tomorrow night. So that's 540 shows of just those two shows. But I've also done all the other live shows I've done not connected. I've done over 1,000 live shows, folks. And that's a lot. And so, I'm always thinking of how to keep the channel fresh, keep it, people engaged, to grow the channel. We're closing on 30,000 subs. I think I'm only about 55 away. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you want to get on this new voicemail thing, like maybe there's something like, in the middle of the night, you're sitting there and you're going, oh God, I wish I could just talk to Dave. Well, now you can, but you got to become a member of the channel. Now you can click that link and you can, leave a voicemail. 90 seconds, I think, is the limit. But you can be like, hey, what about, whatever the case is. Now you can talk to me, kind of, at all hours of the day. It's kind of creepy. But anyway, so, we'll run this. We'll see how it goes. Again, exclusive to my members. And then, if it's a success or whatever, we might open it up, and that might evolve into a live call-in, which may evolve into a new show altogether. Like, McRae Live has run its course. It's done. We put it to bed, and there's a new show, new setup, new look, McRae After Midnight, or, I don't know, maybe it's a whole different kind of show. Who knows? But this is sort of the first step in testing things out and seeing how my audience responds to it. And of course, I want to give first dibs and access to my members because you guys are amazing. And yeah, so if it interests you, you know what to do. Hit that join button. I'd really appreciate it. Let me see here. Hang on. A couple more super chats came in. Eddie Chase, $2. Thank you. Says, which Canadian NHL teams rival each other? Montreal and Toronto, Toronto and Ottawa, Edmonton and Calgary. Really just sort of it, kind of makes sense, right? You build rivalries. I mean, Edmonton and Calgary because they're in the same province. Montreal and Toronto because they're the two, original 6 teams, right? That's a hot one. Toronto and Ottawa because that's the battle of the province of Ontario. Vancouver and Calgary, maybe, I'm not sure, but yeah, there's some rivalries in there. There's some rivalries. Billy Bob sends in $4.99. Thank you, Billy Bob. Says, but Dave, what is your favorite chocolate milk? Nestle, I think. Nesquik is my go-to. Also, if you collect movies, what would be your prized movie you own? I don't collect as much physical media as I used to. I do, but the prize that I own, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. Well, I will say something that is really cool. Frank the Tank Riker, frankly speaking, Riker is in the chat. You can probably see it right back. Hang on, right back there. Right there is the original copy of Black Christmas on VHS that Frank bought me and sent to me last year. And again, Frank, I really, really appreciate that. It's still in its packaging. It's really, really, really cool. And yeah, like it's just an original copy of Black Christmas sealed. VHS. That's pretty wild. That's pretty awesome. And so I would say that's got to be one of them right there. That's got to be one of them right there, I would say. All right, let me just go over to the other. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I haven't missed anything. I don't think I have. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, good. Josh says, I'm shy because I hate my voice. But no one ever mentions or care how weird my voice sounds, but to me. Well, I think what it comes down to, as a voice actor, I can tell you what's likely happening. Most people have perfectly fine voices. Most people. Like, unless you actually, hey man, what's going on? Most people don't sound like that, right? And so most people's voices are perfectly fine. What the issue is you're not used to hearing the sound of your voice played back objectively to you, right? Because you're used to always hearing your voice in your own head. And when you hear your voice played back to you, whether it's through a tape recorder or a voicemail, most people don't even like the sound of their own voice on their own voicemail, right? And so it's not because your voice sucks or you have a weird voice or a terrible voice. That's why people have never mentioned your voice is weird, because you don't have a weird voice. It's because how we hear you is slightly different than how you hear yourself in your own head. Not night and day, but there's just a slight difference. And so that's all it is. And if I heard your voice, I'd be like, yeah, that just sounds like a normal guy leaving a voicemail. Like, it doesn't, like, oh, that's cool. That's Josh, Again, if you're a member and you have an accent, whether it's an Irish accent, a Scottish accent, a Caribbean accent, an Italian accent, whatever the case is, as long as you can speak English, because I can't speak any other language. So if you leave a voicemail in a different language, I won't be able to understand you, and therefore I don't know what you're asking. I encourage you to leave it. Don't be shy. This is your opportunity to let me know a hot take, something you've always wanted to mention to me, something you've always wanted to ask me, a theory you have on a movie, whatever the case is. This will be your opportunity to do it, and we'll have some fun with it. We'll see how it goes. And again, it's not going to cost anybody anything. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. I don't think anyway, because it's going to be through a link that I send out. So it's not like it's through. I originally was looking into Google. It's a Google Voice, Google Phone, whatever, but that's only available in the US at the moment. So I couldn't use that, and that would be a number that you would call, but it would be free. You would just, as long as you have a data plan on your phone, all that kind of stuff. But this is going to be different. This is just going to be a link that you just hit the link. Oh, and it says, welcome to the McRae line, whatever, right? And it says record. And you're like, oh, I hit record. It starts recording. You go, hey, Dave, what's going on? So it's Josh here. I just want to say, what do you think of that damn thing? Whatever the case is. And then you just hit stop. And then there might be like a send or something, and you hit send, and that's it. And it goes into my inbox. Now, I will say this to my members. I do say this just for, ebb and flow. Don't send me a message to wish me a good morning. Don't send me a message to just kind of, let's try and keep the messages on topic. Movie related, horror movies, something you're curious about, something topical. I know what you did last summer. Let's try and not do things like, what's your favorite chocolate milk? No offense to the individual that asked me that. That's cool to ask me that here in the chat room. Ask me that in the chat room, super chat, member chat. That's cool. I don't mind that. But for the voicemail stuff, for that kind of stuff, let's kind of keep this, special. You know what I mean? Like, this is for the special stuff. So that's the only thing I will say. And I say that with all due respect. Let's not, I don't care that you just had dinner. I don't care. Let's not abuse the opportunity, right? It is purely, now I also, if I do get some of those messages, I obviously will just not air them. You know what I mean? But let's try and keep them hot and juicy stuff. Like, it means, oh, you know what? I'm going to put that in, that kind of stuff. That's the only thing I will ask. And of course I can't guarantee, that your voice message will be aired, right? I have to pick and choose the ones that I think are interesting and the ones that I think are viable and that my audience will find interesting, and encourage more people to also join the membership, right? Because we're trying to build the community, and that's what you got to do. So, yeah. What's the time? Oh, it's only an hour and 6 minutes. Feels like we've been on longer. But what did you guys think of the I Know What You Did Last Summer trailer? Those of you that are still in the chat that have not left. People are so finicky. People's attention spans are so finicky. It's amazing. If you start, like, for 5 seconds, start talking about something other than the topic, people go, I'm out, I gotta go. Like, hang on. But now, then again, I am long-winded, so maybe people know. And you know what? Dave's going to talk about this for 38 minutes. I can go take a shit and come back. That's probably true. What did you guys think of the I Know What You Did Last Summer trailer? Mean voicemail Monday. Well, these are all my members. So if you're a member of mine, chances are you're not going to be mean. If I open it up to everybody, that's where the mean ones will come in. Andrew Rollinson says Barry should send a message in his strongest Glaswegian. I know he's from Glasgow. Or Glasgow, I think it is. Scottish accent, we'll just say. I'm down for. I can understand him fine, though. All these people that say they don't understand Barry at all, I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Yeah, he's got a Scottish accent. But I have no trouble understanding him. No trouble. None. Like zilch. I have no trouble understanding Barry. None. He doesn't like, yeah. Yeah. Anyway. William Anders says, disappointed on the trailer. I feel like they should have used anything but the car accident. Okay. So I hear you. So you feel maybe a bit, it's a bit repetitive, right? It's a bit redundant. Maybe I understand that. I guess that's where that balance of, this is legacy sequel versus remake, reboot, requel. It's all kind of like they're trying to find that balance. Yeah, I get it. Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, there's enough, if there's enough differences, is it possible that for a group of kids, again, 30 years later, have that kind of an accident, who again decide to make the same decision? That's what you got to remember too, is that, and I know it's just a movie and you have to suspend your disbelief, but I hope, like, what are the odds in real world terms, and maybe not very high, and that's why we're all having trouble kind of going, really, that 30 years later, a group of 4 teens also have an accident in the same town, I think it's the same town, on the same stretch of highway. It kind of looked like the same stretch of highway, maybe not. Hit somebody, okay. But then also decide to make the same decision. Let's not call the police. Let's not call the cops. The police and the cops are the same thing. Let's not call the police. Let's not call the, an ambulance, the fire department. Let's just dump them in the water. I mean, I kind of laugh and I think, okay, yeah, maybe they would make the same decision. I don't know. You know what? It's going to be interesting. Frank says, I'm going to call in with recipes or animals in distress sounds. Oh, please don't. Oh my God. That'd be painful, Frank. That'd be painful. Don't do that. Is it Treyas? Is that how you say that? It says, it was okay. Nothing special. Yeah. It's what I expected, from I Know What You Did Last Summer. Wayne Downey says, then you could have hate voicemail video. If I opened it up to everybody, I probably would. That would be juicy, and it would put a stop to the hate voicemails if you get them. Yeah, maybe. Although most trolls, they wouldn't have the guts. Because they know that I would play it back and they'd have to out themselves. You know what I mean? And they wouldn't want to do that. Most people are just warriors behind a keyboard. That's what they are. That's it. Most of the people that, talk tough behind a keyboard wouldn't have the cojones to say it to you in person. Not at all. Wouldn't have the cojones at all. No. Because then shit just got real. Right? Shit just got real. You know what I mean? And especially from somebody like me, who likely gives the impression that I have no issues defending myself. I mean, verbally. I don't mean, I'm going to get into a physical altercation. I just mean, they probably wouldn't want to be lambasted from me verbally, in front of a lot of people either, right? So most people can talk tough behind a keyboard, but they can't necessarily, talk tough verbally. And if they can, chances are that wouldn't be their first go-to with somebody like me who could be a equal match, right? And so, these keyboard warriors are just, little minions behind a keyboard. William Anders says, not feeling the killer. Neither. Definitely feels female. Maybe, feels female. Oh, yeah. I've heard some people say that. Yeah, it doesn't, the killer doesn't look hulking. They don't have like this big hulking vibe to them. So, you may be onto something there. And look, if it is female, I hope it's not Helen Shivers. I'm just going to say that. I hope it's not Helen Shivers, because that just makes no sense to me. Unless there's something I'm missing. Like, again, like I said, towards the beginning of the show, I know you can justify it. You can do something and, to justify it. But man, it's going to be a square peg into a round hole. I mean, this just makes no sense. Why would Helen Shivers suddenly come back to kill people? And she's dead. Have we forgotten she's dead? Yeah, but Stu's coming back. Stu, yeah, well. I don't know, man. I don't know. Nicholas Hollier says, 2025 has been a letdown for horror. Honestly, low expectations for this one. Really? You got Sinners? Sinners was, I haven't seen it yet, but apparently it's amazing. I liked Wolfman. Maybe you didn't. I thought Wolfman was really good. Let me just see what other horror movies have come out between January and now. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, but I think you have the right attitude. Go in with just realistic expectations. This isn't going to change your life. It's not going to make you want to gallivant in the streets, screaming, I'm a banshee, waving your head, your pants over your head, buck naked, with the sun beating down upon you with a big smile on your face. No, it's a legacy sequel 30 years after the fact. Chances are it's probably going to be, it was all right. It's either going to be, the chances that this changes your life is highly unlikely, so let's not bother watching it with that expectation. And if it does change your life, well, then that's amazing. That's great. But, statistically, these things usually don't do that. And so I always encourage people whenever I can to just understand that horror movies don't have to change your life. If they do, great. But watch horror movies with just, realistic, just take it as it is. Take it as it is. And if it's great, it's great. Muse Watson's wife. Maybe, Frank, maybe. Scared Straight Production says, does it have to be recorded within 90 seconds or can it be pre-recorded? I see. That's a good question. I'm not sure yet. I encourage people who do send it in to not send anything longer than 60 or 90. Because I don't want to, with all due respect, I don't want to sit here for 5 minutes playing, your voicemail. That's going to ruin the rhythm. So try to keep it tight, concise, on point. If you're weary or unsure, think about it. Maybe if you want to write it down and read it to me, something, you know what I mean? Because I don't want something that's meandering and going on and on and on and on and on. So it's nothing personal. It's just we gotta keep these things tight. So there might be an option to do that. I'm not sure. Hang on a sec. Let me see if I can, just on my phone here, open up the, let me see if I can just open up the, 1 second. Give me a second here. Okay. I just got to get the link to what I'll be doing. Oh, no, not that one. That one. It's going to be through a website called, oh, no, not, is it that one? Yes, it's a website, I believe, called, it's going to be called SpeakPipe. SpeakPipe. And so I don't think you can upload it. I don't think so. I will double check with everything because obviously I will make a post in the near future to my members, of course. So you have to be a member with the link and all the information. But I think it's just recording. But you might be able to stop and hang on. Let me send myself a recording. Let me just hang on a sec here. Let me just send myself. Okay, record now. Okay, it says, is your microphone ready? Yes. 1, record. 2, listen. 3, send. Yeah, so there we go. So it's recording now. You can see it there. It's recording. There it is, recording. Hey, Dave, what's going on, you goddamn son of a bitch? And then you hit stop, and then there is a reset. There's a reset button, or there's a save button. So I hit save, uploading the audio, and then I think it's saved. I think it was sent to me. Let me just see. It was, no. Okay, so there must be a send button. Anyway, I'll figure it all out and I will put it in the instructions of what to do. There's probably, I probably had to hit an extra send button. But it's very easy, right? You just, there's a record button, hit record. Hey, Dave, what's going on? Listen, what do you think of that? Blah, 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 blah. Stop. Do you like it or do you want to re-record it? If you like it, you hit save, you hit send, done. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. So it's voicemail. I'm calling it voicemail because that's what it is. But there's no phone number to call. It'll be through a link and it's exclusive to all my members. But if you want to up your odds of being heard of me playing it, you have to be part of level number 2 because there will only be one wild card chosen from level number 1. So and try to keep it short and sweet because the shorter they are, the more I can play, right? If everyone is 90 seconds, I might only be able to play like 5 a show or something. You know what I mean? So, if you can get what you say, get in, get out, that's the best thing to do. Like you're leaving a real voicemail, right? Like, hey, Dave, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. What do you think of this such and such? I think it's kind of crazy, but like, yeah, take 30 seconds, like take a minute if you need to, but only take the 90 if try to that's like, that shouldn't be the rule. That should be the exception. You know what I mean? It's there if you need it because there's something like big breaking news or something, So anyway, yeah, but it's coming. No, I don't think they will. Well, again, it's going out to my members only. So I don't think my members are going to do that. If it went out to everybody, yeah, there might be a few that I'll have to filter through. But it would be easy to do that, and just know that I reserve the right to play whatever the hell I want and not play what I don't want, right? So it's kind of pointless sending it in because it'll never get heard, But anyway, but Dave, I have a rotary phone. Yes, Frank, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. All right, let's see here. Okay, so, I think we've kind of, there's still 10 minutes left, but I think the show's sort of run its course for today. So I think that's probably going to do it for this episode of McRae Live. Folks, thanks for joining me this afternoon. I just wanted to jump on and talk about this new trailer for I Know What You Did Last Summer. If you're watching after the fact, jump into the comment section and let me know your thoughts on the new I Know What You Did Last Summer trailer. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you excited about it? Are you not excited about it? What do you think? What do you think? Are you a fan? Jump into the comment section and let me know your thoughts. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in today. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you to the Super Chats. Means a lot. And think about becoming a member on the channel here to get exclusive access to this new feature, which I think is going to be fun. And it's only going to grow from there. So it'll be fun and exciting. All right, folks, have a great rest of your Tuesday. And I will talk to you all very, very soon. In the meantime, and by the way, Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, episode 200, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Cheers.